Hey there, welcome to From the Logo. The Super Bowl happened yesterday, and football season is over. It's time for basketball season. We got the All-Star break coming up soon, and then the hunt for the playoff race, the play-in tournament, and then the best time of the year for sports starts, in my opinion. We got the playoffs coming up, just a few short months. But what'd you guys think of the Super Bowl yesterday? Patrick Mahomes getting his third ring, becoming the new Tom Brady. Colton, looks like you've got some thoughts on the subject.
One man terrorized the AFC for like 20 years straight, basically. Every year. Well, I mean, you can throw Peyton Manning in there a little bit too. Kind of throw those random quarterbacks in there. But Tom Brady terrorized football, all of football, but mainly the AFC. Now, as Tom Brady hadn't even retired yet, Mahomes is the new monster that's going to terrorize the AFC. And
Looks like.
man, when your favorite team is in the same division as that team, it's kind of sucks. I'm not going to make it all about the Chargers, but I am happy with the Chargers hiring Jim Harbaugh to try and combat Andy Reid and Mahomes combo. But man, those guys and Kelsey, you can't forget Kelsey. Those guys are fun to watch, but man, they're going to terrorize the league and it's going to get old. It's going to get like dominant, Warriors level of like, all right, these guys are shoved down your throats. Mahomes is a great reference to Curry. They have the same flair and that kind of attitude. And so it just, ah, I'm not ready for it. I already want it to end, but, it was a pretty crazy Super Bowl.
Riley, do you think Andy Reid is on his way out, or do you think he's going to stick around?
Breaking news, because I thought that he was on his way out. I thought he was going to try to retire at the top after a repeat. Nope. He has made it official as of just a few minutes ago that
Oh,
he's
wow.
coming back to try for the three-peat.
Yeah.
So he's going to be back. I think the whole team's pretty much going to be back. Andy Reid already said that the little brouhaha with Travis Kelce on the sideline was nothing. They're moving past it. Twitter's not ready to move past it, but who cares? Andy Reid is. Travis Kelce's coming back. Patrick Mahomes is coming back. They're going to be a force for at least a couple more years, I think. In terms of this Super Bowl, the first half of the game I kind of thought was pretty boring, and then the second half of the game in overtime might have been the best Super Bowl that I've seen in
It was really only
a
the fourth
decade.
quarter and overtime. The third quarter was also incredibly slow. Like nothing happened. There was hardly any yards gained in the entire third quarter.
Just the intensity with which the two teams played toward the end of that game and going into overtime. There was a lot of tension there. We could all feel it in the room that the momentum had definitely swung and that it was only a matter of time before Patrick Mahomes made that repeat happen. But I thought it was a great game, especially toward the end. First half was pretty terrible. I was afraid it was going to be like a 6-0 49ers win, but they figured some offense out.
Shout out the Jehovah's Witness that knocked on my door 7 p.m. on a Sunday, 2 minutes left in the game. Shout out to you for coming to my door and knocking on it. And I awkwardly answered the door and said, "Sorry, I got to go watch this." And then
He's
he
a
said,
real one. He's got his priorities.
"What's your name? When's the best time to watch this?" And I said, "Colton, I got to go." And I shut the door. I'm sorry to that person if you're a fan of the podcast. I'm sorry, but what are you doing knocking on my door 7 p.m. Super Bowl Sunday? I know Jehovah's Witnesses might not watch the Super Bowl, but you
They
have
got other
to know
priorities,
it
man.
exists. You have to know it's a cultural thing. So
Their Super Bowl is the Lord.
shout out to
You should
that
have
guy.
invited him in. Should have invited him in to see if you could
Spread the good
convert
word.
him,
Convert him.
convert him to the world of sports.
I thought that watching the end of that game, I thought the 49ers maybe should have taken another risk down the stretch, gone for it one more time. I just think like on that third and four when they missed it, like you might want to consider going for it. I know that sounds insane, but a field goal in that situation it's not going to get the job done. You're giving the ball back to Mahomes. He's going to go get a touchdown. There was a few times, both the end of regulation field goal and the overtime field goal, where I was like, man, I don't think you even want to put the ball back in his hands. It might be worth it to take a risk, but maybe if it didn't work out, they'd be crucifying, religious reference. They're crucifying oh boy, I'm blanking on his name right now.
Shanahan.
Shanahan, Kyle Shanahan. So yeah, with football season's over though, and now we can talk about the the rest of the NBA season, how that's shaping up, what it's going to look like. We had the trade deadline pass. We'll have a trade deadline reaction video coming out soon. What do you guys think about how the season is shaping up? Who do you guys think are kind of the favorites coming out of the conference? I think all three of us had Denver and Boston in the finals. Do we still stand with that matchup, or are there any teams you guys think are have a chance to ruffle some feathers and break that up?
So I think that the coming out of the East, I still think Boston looks really good. I don't really think that Milwaukee is going to give them much of a fight. Milwaukee's already kind of started that slip down. They're in third now. Cleveland passed them,
Cleveland's won
and
9 straight. They're on
yeah,
fire right now.
I think that Milwaukee's going to continue to have problems with the new coaching staff and some of the things that we've talked about in previous videos. I just don't think that this is going to be their year. Maybe next year will look better. Sometimes it just takes a while to get things going. I don't think this year looks very good. There's too much weird stuff going on emotionally and personnel wise, and new coach, and someone just got fired. I think Milwaukee's in trouble. So I think it is going to be Boston coming out of the East unless someone like Cleveland can put up a good fight.
Looking at the East, like it is Boston's for the taking.
Yeah, I agree.
Obviously Embiid got hurt, he's out. Who knows if he'll be back and how healthy he'll be. The Bucks, you mentioned the struggles there. Cleveland and New York, I don't know, man. I think they're pretenders. I don't think they're really going to be putting up much of an effort. So out of the East, I feel like it's Boston's to take, and if they don't, it's going to be maybe sort of a blow it up situation. Obviously not completely blow it up, but make some major changes.
I'm shooting my shot, calling it now. Boston will be upset in the semifinals of the Eastern
Woo!
Conference this year. I'm
Wow.
not going to put my money on who yet. That might get my crystal ball might get more less murky as that gets closer. We don't even know the matchup, right? But Boston Celtics will be eliminated second round of the playoffs this season. The East is going to be wide open. I don't know who it's going to be, but somebody's going to do it. Nobody's going to see
Like
it coming except
like
me.
last year with Miami, kind of came out of nowhere. But yeah, looking at like how it would shape up right now, a second round matchup, it would be like a New York or an Indiana or something like that. One of those sorts of teams would probably match up with them in the second round.
It's going to be a crazy thing and it's going to happen. As far as the
Wow.
Western Conference goes, my predictions are actually going to be probably the opposite of what you guys are saying. I'm saying Denver still. I don't see the top of the conference has been all kinds of different teams, whether it's the Clippers, the Thunder, the Timberwolves. They've all been kind of jockeying for that number one seed. I think that Denver just is a buzzsaw and headlined by Jokic, the Joker, the smoker, the midnight toker. He will not be denied and he will go to the finals again.
Yeah, I pretty much agree with you, honest. I'm not taking any contrarian route with this. I think that Minnesota and OKC are going to get exposed in the playoffs. They're good teams, but I don't think they're
They're
tested
not
enough
ready
to.
yet.
Yeah, exactly. They're not tested enough to make a deep run. And Phoenix and the LA Clippers, they got the talent and they got the experience and those sorts of things, but I don't really know if I trust, first of all, the Clippers' health, and then the Suns' sort of cohesiveness, their defense, their supporting cast. So I agree with you. I think it's Denver's for the taking right now.
Yeah, I wish I had more to add, but honestly, I'm pretty much right in that same category. I think it's going to be Denver. I think they basically are the top of the Western Conference right now. They have the same number of wins as Minnesota does in number one, and Denver is kind of looking like they're not going to go on a tear right now. To me, they're 7-3 in their last 10. They're just looking like they're about to round into end of the year playoff form. And yeah, I just think Minnesota and OKC are too young, and LA and Phoenix are too old, and going to probably run into injury problems. It's
It
just I
honestly would
don't
not.
trust that LA won't.
It honestly would not surprise me at all if we had a rematch from the Western Conference Finals last year, Denver and the LA Lakers. I know the Lakers have looked sus, but they did last year too, and they're a
You
different
just
animal in the
surprised
playoffs.
me. That was a surprise because they didn't upgrade this year at the trade deadline like last year. They
Yeah,
stayed.
but they have all the same pieces basically that they had during last year's run.
They look.
I think that LeBron doesn't play LeBron basketball until the playoffs, and then him and Anthony Davis. I mean, I still think that's probably the best two-man punch other than Jokic and Murray in the Western Conference. And when it comes to playoff basketball, LeBron will be LeBron. And it wouldn't surprise me if they got knocked out, but it wouldn't surprise me if they made another run and then got smoked by Denver again. Who do you guys think the favorites for the finals are? Let us know in the comments down below. Who's coming out of the East? Who's coming out of the West? Are we on to something here? Are we way off? Let us know. Thanks everyone for watching. We'll see you next time.
Basketball season.